What's up, people? This is Thomas from Kamelot, and you're watching Moho.com. It's a concept theme. It's not a concept record where you have the storyline like in Silverthorne, but we have an overall kind of global awareness that permeates through all the songs. We didn't want to do an album that was story-based in terms of characters, where every song kind of connected to each other, because we want every song to have its own kind of life. But it's based around this shadow theory, these three different aspects of the shadow, and as part of it was based on Carl Jung's, his theory on the shadow that we all have in our subconscious that grows darker if we don't acknowledge it. With the Shadow Theory album, we have these three different tiers. We have the Shadow Empire, the Shadow Key, the Shadow Wall. The Shadow Empire is the top layer that's controlling everything. The banks, defense companies that have all this money tied up in wars, oil companies. The Shadow Key is the resistance against all this empire, and it's also symbolism of taking care of things for yourself, unlocking your own potential. The Shadow Wall is this screen that the empire puts up for normal folks like you and me. Whether it's debt, division between religions, distractions with bad television, all of these things to kind of keep the normal, the 99% from really seeing what's happening on this top layer. No, it's based on what we kind of feel like the future might be like. Definitely this dystopic future. And it's part of, we touched on a little bit in Haven. We want to kind of expand on it more with this record. We wanted to marry this shadow idea from Jung, but also with AI and the conscious, the idea that you can actually maybe keep a brain and put this in an AI creature to keep your mind alive forever if you can. So these are the kind of the worlds that we wanted to marry, and we've been really interested in different movies and sci-fi, and like Ghost in the Shell, for example, was part of the inspiration for the cover. So the lyrics definitely reflect that. Basically, yeah. I mean, we have a German keyboard player, Swedish vocalist, and the rest are from the United States, so it's not much different than when we met before. I mean, it's not really about where you're from anyway. It's more about the type of person you are. Like, the people in the band have a certain style. Everybody is very open-minded about things, whether it's whatever it might be, having interest outside of just the normal things. So I always try to surround myself with people that are creative, open-minded, intelligent, and it doesn't really matter where they're from, really. That's funny you say that, because most people think that we sound European, even though the genesis and the origins are all from Florida, for example. But I grew up listening to classical music, all kind of classic rock, bands like Yes, progressive bands, Rush. So that had nothing to do with being, like, I was born and raised for the most part in Virginia, which has nothing to do with metal, and really doesn't have like a strong music. The only person I know from Virginia is like Dave Matthews. So that's like a total different style of music. And I think with the world, with the access to all different styles of music, you could be born in Kentucky. Bluegrass music is normal, but you could be the biggest classical fan if you know where to look, and if it's something you hear and you go, oh, I like that. I want to keep getting more of that stuff. I don't know. I mean, when I was younger, I had this it was called something with Bach, where they played Bach on like synthesizers. That was really the first time I heard classical music. I think I was like 8 years old or something, and that's when I really started to get into classical. And then I heard bands, guys like Malmsteen, who kind of took a lot of those Bach melodies and made them into metal stuff. And that was one of the beginnings of me getting into metal stuff. On the wilting meadows, we let 'em out to play. The main evolution is that we maintain relevancy. We're going from like maybe mostly power metal to symphonic metal to adding modern metal elements over the past 10 years. Making sure that every record is relevant for the time without being trendy. It's really important. Maintaining the Kamelot heritage, but then also bringing in new elements. It's really important, like with each tour too, we always play new stuff from the new album. This is where we're at, not where we were. Always looking forward, present, future. This is a key, I think that's a key aspect to what we do, and how the relevancy part is crucial, The water pulls me down, never to be found. I think that's important. I think our fans expect that. There are always a small percentage that wants the same album over and over, but I think our fans are open-minded and they expect the unexpected. So we always do that with each record in doses that are, that makes sense. Like in 2000, years ago, it doesn't seem that long ago, but that's when we started bringing female vocals into what we were doing. Some people think that's like a new thing that we're doing, but we did that on the Fourth Legacy, for example, with we had an Icelandic singer on, I think it was Sailorman's Hymn, and then my wife was on the record then. So we've been trying to introduce new themes and new elements. Bringing in Shagrath, for example, on the Black Halo was something that a typical power metal band hadn't done, It has been. With the new album, though, I wanted the cover to be a little bit more unisex in a way. I mean, you're not really sure if this is a male or a female. But I don't know why I gravitated to this female on the covers. I guess it started with the Fourth Legacy, where we had this silent goddess was kind of portrayed. Then we had a song on Karma, Elizabeth Bathory, so we had her on the cover. And this is the Phantom Divine, so maybe it has a lot to do with these songs that are on the album and trying to kind of portray one of the characters on the front. Now I just need your breath. I can feel upon my skin. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the shadow key is one of it's part of the resistance. It's also a symbolism of unlocking your own potential. That's why we have this keyhole on the torso. We also, in the limited edition, we have a physical key that is only a Kamelot style with the Kamelot K, and it's very detailed. So fans will be able to have that key in the limited box.
We need to pop in the box itself?
No, the box opens from the top. But it is a special item that I think the fans will love, yeah. Yeah, I mean the new artwork, not just the cover, but the whole booklet is packed with some really cool artwork. So we're going to definitely incorporate a lot of these, more of this kind of modern themes to the stage deco, the staging. We have some new techniques when it comes to lighting that we're going to start using that nobody's used before. So yeah, we're excited about the next tour.
Not only LED lights.
Not only LED lights. There's new techniques now that it's been used in theaters, like theatrical productions, but not really concert touring. That we'll be incorporating. You kind of have to be. I mean, if you want the band to grow, you have to keep up with social media. With Cam TV, the original idea was to put like on the road videos. Like we'd make a lot of videos while we're touring and show the fans like what it's like to be on tour with the band. It takes a lot of time to do that. We're gonna do that on the next tour again. But we focus on other things like Facebook, Instagram, those kind of platforms. For me, though, if it was up to me, I would say we could go back. If we could go back to the old Kamelot.com, there's a web page. That's where you go for your information. I think it's a lot more direct, less distracting. But in the world we're in now, these kind of platforms are important to promote and to let people know what's happening, where you're touring. Is there a new album coming out? New video,
All through these days I have held your hand.
Yeah, we're going to actually record. The main concert will be at Tilburg, Netherlands, at the O13. And then we're going to be taking a crew with us for like a full week of back behind the scenes, backstage, from the stage. For example, like in Paris, we'll have a camera team with us filming the crowd. Maybe we'll go visit some landmarks. Do the same in Oslo, London. These major cities, so that when we do this final production, you have a little bit of a flavor of what it's like to be on the tour.
Left us blind and broke her pride.
Biggest achievement is basically when you meet some fans and they either say a song has helped them, or in some extreme cases, some people have said they had thought about taking their own life, and this song really saved their life, or this album, or whatever. That's easily the biggest achievement. I mean, it could be other things like Haven, for example, was #1 on the Billboard hard rock charts. That's an easy one to pick out. But for me, it's more like the way that the music and the music and the idea behind some of these albums affects other people.
I am learning to crawl, deny.
No, not really. Probably not. I mean, I didn't really even think past, probably past 6 years, because Kamelot was a hobby in the beginning. I used to work in the apparel business. I was a product manager. So Kamelot was a hobby. And then when the Fourth Legacy started, I put everything into that, We were talking about debt earlier, like how corporations like to keep people down with making you owe things. So when the Fourth Legacy came out, I basically took care of all my debt and didn't owe anybody anything. So I was totally free from that point. And but it's amazing. It's been an amazing career, and it feels great when you have a new record like this to know that things are not slowing down, especially with the touring coming up, the live DVD, Blu-ray. It's a good time.